Okay, we got this 2002 Impala 3.8 engine, and it's got a severe misfire on cylinder number 3 and a slight misfire on cylinder number 1. We swapped the ignition coils, it didn't make a difference. We swapped the fuel injectors, it didn't make a difference. This is number 3 right here, and this is number 1 right here. So the next thing I did was compression test. I took out the spark plugs in the front, very simple, disconnected the fuel pump relay so we don't get gas in the cylinder and dry out the cylinders and warp the cylinders. We disconnected the fuel pump relay, so we have and the ignition system, so it doesn't spark and it doesn't throw fuel in the cylinder. We just want to check compression. I checked the compression on number 1 was around 60 psi, number 2 was about 25-30 psi, and this one right here was about 100 psi. Number 5, so number 5 was 100 psi. I know the cylinder is perfect, working perfectly, it doesn't misfire. This one misfires really bad, misfire all the time, and this one right here was a little misfire, you know. Anyway, so what I did is next thing is compression. After compression test, we do a cylinder leak down test. In order to do a cylinder leak down test, the valves must be closed. The valves has to be closed, the piston has to be down, and we have to put air in the cylinder and see where the air is escaping from. It could be a head gasket problem. If it's a head gasket problem, you will see the coolant pressure rise. I pumped it to 7 psi, the pressure cooling system, and I want to see if it's a head gasket problem, the coolant pressure, the radiator pressure will rise, it will go up. I didn't want the coolant to leak out of here, so I put the cap on it and the tester on it. So that's what I did. If you see a coolant coming right out of here, we know head gasket will be shot, it will be bad, the head gasket will be burnt right in between those two cylinders. We don't have a head gasket problem, okay? And the car came in here driving nice. It was just splashing and it was no coolant, like, you know, signs of coolant, like white smoke or gray smoke. We didn't see none of that stuff. So it was just slight misfire, random cylinder misfire code 300. We looked at the data, cylinder misfire data, 1 and 3 misfiring. So we went down to this test. So what I did is I took the valve cover off on this car and I loosened all the push rods. They're all loose, which means the valves are closed, they're up, the springs are up, pushing the valves closed, tight. And now, this is the shop air that's coming in, and I have it at excessively high, which is 100 psi. I shouldn't do that, but I have it at, let's say, 70 psi. This number, 70 psi, and this number has to match. If it doesn't match, we have a leak. This is what's in the cylinder. This goes into the cylinder. This is what's in the cylinder. The PSI in the cylinder is only 10 PSI. It should be the same, 70. Plus or minus maybe 10 degrees, 10 PSI off. You know, it's gonna be like maybe 10 PSI off or something like that, but this is excessively, there's a big leak on this cylinder. The leak, what you're gonna do is check, is it a head gasket? Is it the intake valves or the exhaust valves? Or it's the piston. If it's the piston leaking out, the piston rings, you will see air coming right from the cylinder. The oil will be bubbling, you'll see oil kind of like bubbling right from here, the valve cover, the oil, the crankcase, you will hear a hissing from the crankcase. We don't have that. We have a hissing sound coming right from the tailpipe. We have a hissing sound right in here. In this tailpipe, we have a hissing sound. Exhaust. So we know the exhaust valve is burnt on this car. We have to do a valve job on this car. Take the cylinder head out, and we have to replace the valves on the exhaust side. But when we take everything out, we have to change all the valves and grind down all the valves and reseat them and everything like that, and check the spring, the pressures on the springs, They look fine right now. They look okay. We're gonna test those springs out. And I found one more other problem on this car is that this push rod is worn out, excessively worn out. I've never seen it this bad before. I've seen it bad ones, but never seen it this bad. Alright, that you're right there, that shiny section. That right there, it is worn out really bad. I thought this was the problem on this car, but I wanted to do a cylinder leak down test, and if the pressure was holding, then I would say it's a push rod. It's not making the valve close all the way or open all the way, you know, so it's gonna lose compression from there, but that's not your case. This one here needs a valve job. Alright, thank you for watching. And this is a 2002 Impala with a 3.8 engine. And cylinder 1 and 3 misfiring. This is Ozzy's Auto Repair. Thank you, bye.